Hey guys, it's Mike down in Savannah, Georgia with All American, and it is an ugly rainy day outside. None of the crews are working, unfortunately, sitting in the office, and I have a couple extra minutes, so I wanted to talk to you guys about building a soft wash proportioning / metering system that you can do for about 240 bucks. I'm gonna do a walkthrough on all of the parts needed. They'll also be all down in the description, links to Amazon. That's the easiest way to buy them, I guess. Just a brief explanation of what it does and why you would want one. So these will not work with gas-powered soft wash systems because of the bypass valve that pushes water and chemical back to the tanks when it's in bypass mode. So this is good for air compressors and electric pumps, which unfortunately we have moved away from. All we use is gas-powered ones for the most part, but we do have a couple that still use this type of thing. But this is what it is. Polypropylene fittings, bleach resistant, chemical resistant. And what these things do is you've got 3 metering valves, and you can set them up however you want. This one is set up for a sodium hypochlorite or a bleach mixture, or not a mixture, but bleach going through this setup here. This one over here will be pure water, and then the center one is going to be your surfactant, your soap, whatever it is that you were using. The beauty of these things is you can actually meter or proportion exactly your mix of what you want right through these little valves. I've seen people that try to do these with ball valves, and while it will kind of work, it's not going to be entirely accurate or effective. The other component of these that is important are these one-way check valves. If you do not use one-way check valves, then you can have water or chemical going up through the tubing or the fittings and back down into tanks. So these check valves obviously stop flow of fluid from one direction. They all have these little arrows on them, and I'll talk about that when we start the assembly process. But this is what it looks like. These things are going to save you a ton of time because you're not going to have to batch mix. Batch mixing obviously is when you have a roof that you're doing or a house that you're doing and you want a specific ratio of chemical to water, and you have to mix it in the tank and then just run it through your pump. With this, you can have 3 tanks and a soak tank and switch that around to get your specific ratios. I will also put a link to a ratio chart down below. There'll be a link for that, so you can print that out and it'll give you kind of a good idea on the different ratios of mixing. So let's just get into it. I think this is going to be a fun little build. I'm going to put all the parts and stuff in the description, like I said below. About 240 bucks. You can go online and you can see how expensive these things are if you were to buy it pre-made. So let's get to it. Okay, you can't see my lovely face, but you don't need to for this, and you probably don't want to. So you start with a 4-way connector. You've got your banjo fitting with a 90-degree on the top, which is going to be your output to your gun or your pump. It's actually going to your pump. You're going to need a bunch of these, and all the quantities and descriptions are below, but these are nipple fittings. So that screws in there. And before we go, I like to use True Blue as opposed to the tape. I just think it's a little bit better. Also, something of note, do not use any kind of tools to tighten this. I would do it all by hand. That's the best way to do it. There is the opportunity to crack these things if you torque them too much, and obviously you don't want to do that because then you're dead in the water. But specifically the valves are the ones that can get cracked if you apply too much force to them. So you start off like this, okay? You've got all of your nipples in there. I'm not doing the tape or anything yet. The next step is another 90-degree fitting, which we're just going to do one side right now. So that screws in there. Then you've got your metering valve. That's the most expensive component of this. You need 3 of them, and we'll put that link in there as well, obviously. So that thing screws on. The next step is yet another nipple. It Goes right in there. So then one of the components that I was talking about earlier, you can see hopefully on camera, there's an arrow. You want that arrow to go towards your valve. So that little boy will screw right in there, like that. And then finally, for this side, this is the nipple that will go into here. It's hard to do while I'm watching, and right there. So that is what one side looks like. Very, very simple. You use your True Blue pipe thread sealant for that, and then obviously all these other ones will be assembled and screwed in. Very, very simple to do, very inexpensive, and it's a lot better than buying these things from your, well, I buy a lot of stuff from local places too, but in some scenarios, you are able to do things yourself, a lot less expensive, and get the same result. These things probably retail for around $400 or something like that. Shipping and parts on this alone is roughly $240. Pretty awesome. Hope that helped. Hope you can put one of these things together. Let us know. And please subscribe to the channel, like this, comment, let us know what else you'd like to see. But there it is. That's your soft wash proportioning valve.